let me bring him on. He's been very patiently waiting there in the green room. He is the writer in the Marina Times. Oftentimes his columns on movies, on life will appear. He is the culture blaster across social media because he blasts about everything from music to movies. He is a friend of the show for so many years. He comes and goes on a rainbow. Michael Snyder, everybody. Michael, welcome.
So happy to be here for the last quarter hour of the Mark Thompson Telethon.
Sorry,
Keep giving.
Your time is shortened. I apologize.
Give with your heart. Give with your soul.
Yeah, it is telethonish, but this is the new world. We have to pitch for it.
I hear you. And
I'll tell you what. I'm going to make this a guarantee to you now.
Okay.
If you want to go, I don't want you to feel cut short. If we've got to run a couple of minutes long, it's okay. But when I say a couple of minutes, I just mean a couple of minutes. Okay?
I don't want to impinge on Nikki Maduro's show, so that's,
look at that.
That's almost a non-starter. Hey, Mark.
Yes.
It's beginning to look a lot like retail everywhere I go. It's nothing but Christmas trees and lights. I mean, in the olden days when I was a boy, we waited till Santa showed up at the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade before we even thought about mistletoe. But not anymore.
No,
oh, my God. By the way,
seriously, what the
Right.
You know, with all the chatter about the demise of Twitter, how comfortable should people be about switching to something called Mastodon, a name synonymous with extinction? I find that a little bit...
It is true. That's what they're talking about, Mastodon. But there'll be others also.
I hope so.
Right.
You know what? Saber-toothed tiger is my favorite new social media spot. That's where I'm going all the time.
What?
Okay, Fangs, you very much. Tiger reference.
My God.
Let's go into the movie
There's never
realm.
been anything like this.
Yeah, well, you're right about that. All right, go ahead. Yeah, let's get to some movies, Michael.
She Said gets up close and personal with New York Times reporters Megan Twohey and Jodie Cantor, who broke the story of a Hollywood bigwig Harvey Weinstein's sexual transgressions and brought down one of the most powerful producers in the movie industry. This is a serious, smart, and critical dramatization of the women at work as the Me Too movement was just getting started. It's a bit talky, but saved by the superb performances of Carey Mulligan as Toohey, whose documented revelations about Donald Trump's treatment of women had little impact on the 2016 presidential election, bumming her out, believe me. And Zoe Kazan as the dogged Cantor, whose persistence paid off in the Weinstein case. As docudramas about high-profile journalistic investigations go, She Said is not as dynamic as All the President's Men, the Watergate expose, nor is it as tense and thrilling as Spotlight, which blew the lid off the Catholic Church's molestation scandals. But the importance of She Said is undeniable as it turns the spotlight, on the serial abuse of actresses and underlings by an Oscar-winning mega producer, resulting in a sort of All the President's Women. Make that All the Producers' Women.
Somebody plays Harvey Weinstein in this?
There is a shot of Weinstein from the rear, and you hear a voice actor doing stuff. There may be legitimate tapes that they spool. But as someone who works in the entertainment field, I was very caught up in seeing how Toohey and Cantor methodically uncovered Weinstein's misdeeds. And by the way, one of Weinstein's more famous victims and accusers is in the movie as herself. And in today's 24-hour news cycle world, hashtag Me Too could feel like old business. As She Said reminds us, it is not. Even at moments when it gets a bit dry and threatens to be burdened by too much exposition, Mulligan and Kazan make you feel the commitment and the crusading determination of Toohey and Cantor. It's directed in clear and precise fashion by German filmmaker Maria Schrader, who did I'm Your Man and Amy and Jaguar, a couple of foreign language films I really enjoyed. And their feminist perspective fits this project like a glove, but never overwhelms it. She Said is in theaters starting this weekend.
Wow, really like that. All right, what else do you have? She Said, it's called.
Yes. No caveats about the mix of satire and horror that is The Menu. It's one of those movies that I think was made specifically for me, although that would be a stretch. Perhaps I should say it's a movie I kind of wish I made. The setup on a silver serving platter is simply this. Select diners of extravagant tastes are invited to a 5-star restaurant on a private island for a special multi-course meal prepared by a renowned chef and his staff. And things go a little off.
Wow.
I don't necessarily think it's going to be everyone's cup of tea, but the horror is not particularly gory or grisly, even if things definitely get horrifying in the menu.
It's a psychological horror, or what is it?
Well, yes, among other things. I don't want to blow it, but as funny as the takedown here of slavish upscale foodies and obsessive celebrity chefs is, the real heart of the menu is its commentary on how the expectations and arrogance of the well-to-do become oppressive, and their profligate pursuit of pleasures has more to do with status than true appreciation. They're all about looking rich and powerful. That's their deal.
It's a takedown of rich people?
Well, among other things, it's a takedown, again, of this foodie culture and the desire for people of wealth to do extravagant things, not to reiterate. But the menu has a wonderful tension that's enhanced by the movie's special dinner parade of increasingly, I'll call them challenging courses.
What's for dinner, Michael?
Oh, I don't even want to tell you, Kim, because it may turn your stomach. Ralph Fiennes is absolutely on point as the chef. His Machiavellian kitchen mastery and his desire for perfection make TV chef Gordon Ramsay and his offhand cruelty look like the jocular Julia Child. I'm telling you. And Anya Taylor-Joy.
Jocular, Alding.
Anya Taylor-Joy and Nicholas Hoult are the audience stand-ins as a couple attending the extravaganza together. John Leguizamo plays a showbiz scammer, and Arturo Castro is one of a group of sickening tech bros, illustrating that the dinner attendees are not all examples of white privilege at its most obnoxious. To say more would be in bad taste.
Oh, my God.
I don't want to undermine the enjoyment of what's on the menu. I will say it's a nasty repast, but a good time.
Oh, my God.
The menu is in theaters this weekend.
Happy
Michael,
Thanksgiving.
Can I see it? I don't like horror.
Yeah, I think you can, but it's stress-inducing at times, but it's really brilliantly done. And if you want to see,
and where is it again?
In theaters.
Okay,
it's
so theater
called
so far.
A theater, and you go there.
Okay, don't patronize me, Michael.
No,
Snyder.
patronize theaters, everybody. We don't want to see them go down the tubes.
So she said, and the menu both in theaters.
Go ahead. Yes. Sebastian Lelio, the Chilean director and co-screenwriter of The Wonder, made his name with really incisive female-led Spanish-language art house hits, including the original Gloria. There was an English-language remake of that, and A Fantastic Woman. But he also made Disobedience in English, a very powerful movie about a woman who reluctantly revisits her Orthodox Jewish community after years of embracing a secular life. Disobedience starred the always excellent Rachel Weisz, while The Wonder, the movie we're talking about right now, a very different sort of film with religion on its mind, stars Weiss's Black Widow co-star Florence Pugh. Coincidence? Who cares? Anyway, as it happens, Pugh, who, along with Mulligan and Kazan from She Said, is one of my favorite rising actresses. She's wonderful. Her versatility is stunning, having played a Marvel superheroine in the MCU, a wannabe female MMA fighter in Fighting with My Family. She was the title character in the John le Carré spy series, The Little Drummer and The Little Drummer Girl. She was one of the March sisters. Talk about a change of pace. She was a March sister in the latest version of Little Women. So in The Wonder, which is adapted from the book of the same name, Pugh continues to display this range as Lib Wright, an English nurse brought to the windswept Irish Midlands in 1862. So a local council has hired Lib to watch over Anna O'Donnell, an 11-year-old girl who has purportedly stopped eating for months and is still somehow alive and well. So a local doctor, played by Toby Jones, believes there's some sort of scientific reason that the girl is surviving. Her family and a string of pilgrims say it's a miracle. Meanwhile, Lib and a journalist from London are more skeptical. And while most of the cast reeks of the old sod in a way that makes you want to cheer them on with a pint of Guinness, and Keela Lord Cassidy, the young actress who plays Anna, is heartbreakingly good. It's Pugh's show, and she is magnificent, dark, troubled, honorable, and compassionate, even as she wrestles with her own demons. So as atmospheric and moody as the Midlands themselves, The Wonder has a very relevant subtext about the pursuit of empirical truth in the face of faith-based believers and those who would take advantage of, let's call them, convenient misconceptions. And it's more proof that Lelio is a fine and daring filmmaker. The Wonder is in theaters, but it's also, as of today, on Netflix.
Oh.
So this is something you and Courtney should delve into.
Yeah, you think it sounds like it's a contemplative piece.
It's just beautifully done. And again, it has a certain relevance today in its questions of truth and belief and, what's real, what's not, perception, governing reality. It's a smart
That's not
movie.
fake. That's real.
Okay, well, maybe it is fake. All right. What's the last movie you have for us, Michael?
Okay, couched as a movie biography of the accordion-playing master of the pop music parody, Weird, the Al Yankovic story, may contain kernels of truth, but it is, in keeping with its subject, largely a wacky parody of the familiar underdog musician attains stardom against the odds story we have seen in a zillion biopics. Here's some out-of-the-box thinking. Someone decided the man who turned Michael Jackson's Beat It into Eat It. Well,
No.
That's one of the points in the story.
That's right. He did the Michael Jackson parody.
He turned Madonna's Like a Virgin into Like a Surgeon and Joan Jett's I Love Rock and Roll into I Love Rocky Road. Someone thought this guy should be played by the boy wizard Harry Potter himself, Daniel Radcliffe.
Wow, Daniel Radcliffe plays Yankovic?
Yes, and Radcliffe, he's displayed a flair for comedy in offbeat movies before, Swiss Army Knife, Guns Akimbo. He gives it his all, enhancing the Pee-wee's Big Adventure vibe here with a sort of wide-eyed innocence and guilelessness. I just think it was...
Guilelessness, please, a ding.
It was pretty inspired casting. And there are loads of cameos and some pretty amusing caricatures of a troupe of pop culture figures from back in the day. They're all at one pool party scene. But the most crucial members of the sporting cast are Evan Rachel Wood as a conniving Madonna, Rainn Wilson as Al's manipulative mentor, the DJ Dr. Demento, Julianne Nicholson as Al's mother, Mary Yankovic, and Will Forte and Al himself as the Scotti brothers,
Wow.
a couple of music industry insiders who actually signed the fledgling Novelty Act to their record label. It's silly and over the top, and I enjoyed the heck out of Weird, the Al Yankovic story, which gives this giant goofball of American music his due, directed by Eric Apple, who co-wrote the movie. Very antic stuff with Weird Al himself. It's in theaters and streaming on Roku.
Wow. You really liked Weird Al Yankovic, the Al Yankovic story.
Well, yeah, I thought I would say that all of the movies that we talked about today have genuine merit.
Yeah, you truly did. So Weird, the Al Yankovic story is in theaters. That's the only place you can see it for the moment, correct?
No, I just told you it's also on Hulu. Thank you for paying attention.
Is it weird to make a movie about someone when they're still alive? Do you think?
Well, that's one of the charms here. It's sort of a fan fiction, but it had a budget.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, they do this to me all the time. I don't know what the hell
do
they do
for.
it
Yeah.
for.
They tell me the answer. I tune out for a second. I'm looking at the different text. You got a lot of love in the chat.
Hey, I love them too. Thank you for listening. Thank you
Smash
for
it.
contributing. It's
Smash it like with your iron rod for
Smash it with your iron
for
rod.
Michael Snyder.
Oh, since it's me, smash it with your iron rod, Stewart. You know, I love the music.
Yeah, he does like the music. Okay, Weird, the Al Yankovic story is available on Hulu
And in theaters.
and in theaters. The Wonder, which you also liked. You feel like there's a contemplative piece. It takes place. It's got a message for today, is what you were saying?
Yeah, even though it's set in beautiful,
Ireland, is it?
windswept Ireland.
Yeah. So you see, I was listening.
Back in the day.
The Menu, which has a little undercurrent of horror, but it's not really a horror movie.
It's got a lot of social satire, and I thought it's my favorite of the four movies today. By the way.
Wow. Look at you. And finally, and that's in theaters. And She Said, which is the serious, smart, critical dramatization of the Harvey Weinstein sexual assault, really, right? It was a parade of sexual assault.
Right,
It was
and
a culture of sexual assault, essentially, for years.
Absolutely. And to tell you, one of the more heartbreaking things in the movie is that Toohey is trying to bring down Donald Trump and has all the evidence about his own peccadillos. And, of course, it ends up amounting to nothing.
Right.
And she pivots to do this Harvey Weinstein thing after a bit.
Wow. Peccadillos is a ding.
It sure is. I want to say quickly because
Yes,
it's
sir,
just
please.
wrapping up. And if you have the Disney Plus subscription, Andor on Disney is really wonderfully done. You're not much of a sci-fi guy, Mark, but This is a kind of prequel miniseries in the Star Wars saga, leading up to Rogue One, which was released a couple years ago. And it's as close to a spy thriller as we've seen from Star Wars, but it's much more mixing in a heist caper, geopolitical drama, military action, and lots of hero's journey elements. It's the story of the loose cannon rebel Cassian Andor, the man who stole the Death Star plans, and how he got to that point. He's played by Diego Luna of Y Tu Mama Tambien, and the show also co-stars so far Stellan Skarsgård, Fiona Lewis, Forrest Whitaker, and the superb Andy Serkis. That's right, Gollum, Caesar, and Claw himself. The real news here is the series was created and written by Tony Gilroy, screenwriter of the Jason Bourne movies, and Beirut, and writer-director of Michael Clayton, the award-winning legal thriller with George Clooney and Tilda Swinton. Andor is sci-fi for people who don't like sci-fi.
I think I'm going to check that out. It's not that I don't like sci-fi, Michael. I was raised on 2001.
Right.
You know, I just it's all of the battles in space that, you know,
there were no giant-headed aliens in 2001.
Right,
so
exactly.
prepare yourself.
You know what the problem is just as well as I do.
You know, I'm just saying.
Hal weighs in. Hal 9000.
Anyway, all right. You can find him in the Marina Times. You can find him here on Fridays. He's the Culture Blaster across social media at Culture Blaster. Is it at the Culture Blaster or at Culture Blaster?
At Culture Blaster, one word. And remember, migrate to Mastodon unless you're fearing another ice age.
He comes and goes on a rainbow. Bye-bye, Michael. Go Niners.
Go Niners. Hola, Mexico.